don't want to be the angry black girl in the room.
Whatever's put out there, you're held accountable to, and that's the difficult thing.
I feel like my calling is to give people a voice.
God said, come as you are.
If you judge somebody for where they're at, you might kill where they're going.
You just treat people how you want to be treated, full stop, that's it.
The more you put yourself out there, people do feel like they know you.
When you're young, you make mistakes, you do certain things, but you get wise.
So, yeah, how are we today? Who have we got here today? So I'm Namesbliss. I'm a rapper and artist from North West London.
My name is Miss Banks. I'm a rapper from South London.
Yeah, Wagwan, my name's D-double-E, yeah? I'm a UK artist, big outside.
Hi everyone, my name's Cristale. I'm an artist from South London.
Oh yeah, my name's Imrhan. I'm an artist from Birmingham.
So I think the first conversation, really, we've been chatting already about the culture that we were raised in terms of music and how you would describe it.
I grew up in a very music-orientated family. My dad was super into hip-hop. Like, I remember growing up hearing Biggie, Tupac, KRS-One, and then there's a bit of a juxtaposition because my mum loved music as well, but she was very much into a lot of Whitney Houston, Monica, a lot of R&B, and also a lot of African music. I remember listening to a lot of Koffi Olomide. I don't know if you know about him, but yeah, just a lot of, kind of Congolese, Dekale, Ivorian music as well. But yeah, that was her bag. But yeah, it super inspired, I guess, my journey and shaped, you know, the stuff I like in music, sound-wise.
Yeah, I hear that, proper. And what would you say about yourself, Double, in terms of the culture that you were raised on musically and surrounding environment?
Yeah, I was growing up, in a kind of Jamaican household. So I was hearing like a lot of the 90s reggae songs. But at the same time, because I was living in the UK, the channel started, the box, they called it. It's just before Sky had the box and Top of the Pops, and there was just like the UK culture was coming through the TV and the radio, so that whole soul to soul, there's just bare things I can say that happened in that time that mixed with my background. Yeah, a lot of pop was coming through them times, because we never had the raw stations. You know what I mean? Everything was a bit... It's only when I got to 16 and or 14, 15, I got my first little radio on the FM, and then I could hear the raw, like, raw, what's this?
That's like pirate radio.
Pirate and stuff like that, but before then it was like just through the channels.
I think as well I came from like a quite musical background. My two cousins used to be a part of a group called Diego when I was growing up. My uncle taught me how to rap. We got my first bars together when I was 3. My mum played music throughout the house. My auntie played music throughout the house. My gran played music throughout the house, and it's all types of music. So from ragga to dancehall to like you're going like reggae, Beres Hammond, and then you're going Dolly Parton, and then you're going like all over the place. And for me, obviously I've seen you coming up like now, but me sitting here, I, at one stage of my childhood life, would have grown up listening to either Imrhan, D-double, or Miss Banks. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I was even saying to Imrhan in there that I don't know when them tunes there. I can't remember what year it was, but I remember that I was either in secondary school.
Yeah, 60.
2016, I was 15 years old. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And that was before I even thought of doing music or anything like that. I was just doing poetry as a hobby in school. Do you get me? So my musical background has been lots. My dad's been in and out of the music industry. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, but you know, I never had plans of like doing stuff like this. I wanted to be an architect. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Look at that.
I went uni, studied illustration and that to get through to the architectural design field, and then along the way, I got a record deal somehow. Do you get what I mean? Just from doing freestyles on Insta and stuff like that. You get me? So yeah, my musical upbringing and my palette for music is very broad, and I feel like that's a gift as well for me, like to be able to just wake up one day and I want to listen to Ed Sheeran, and then the next day I want to wake up and listen to Buju Banton, and then the next day I wake up and I want to listen to D Double.
Yeah, the range.
You get what I mean?
Yeah,
the range, yeah.
Proper. What would you say about yourself, Imran?
My story's a bit boring, man. I wasn't. My mom kind of like discerned like, yo, these music videos are a bit wild, you know what I mean? So she was kind of like, no music. So now I was like, Kai, I can't listen to music. So we just didn't listen to music in the house.
Was your mum Christian?
Yeah, now she was, and I think she was kind of like very protective of me at the time, because obviously the stuff that we saw on the TV, like, not gonna lie, it was a bit boisterous for us as youths. Have you ever realized when you start singing a song that you used to sing when you was younger, the lyrics
were
like hitting, and you're thinking, hey, is that what I was singing?
I was nine.
And at a young age, jeez. So obviously, I get why now. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, I still used to sneak and listen to 50 Cent and, here and there. So I grew up on like rap, so like 50 Cent, like Eminem. Like it was that era. I think that's like what, 2000?
Yeah.
I think that's when I kind of start kind of like weaning my way into actually listening to music properly. But other than that, it was gospel straight, to be fair, in my house. And a lot of it was, like my dad used to play Masquerade, which is like our Nave country kind of song, like Masquerade, Calypso.
Okay.
Those are the stuff that would come up on like Calypso and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Like almost like soca linked to that as well.
It's kind of soca, Calypso, that kind of vibe, but more Calypso. Yeah, there was a different ring, man. Different ring. The lyrics were different, yeah.
I hear it. I think for myself, I can relate with some of your story. I think for me, my mum was like super Christian. My dad was kind of a bit more lax. So like my dad would play a lot of jazz records, a lot of early hip hop records, but he wouldn't want us to listen to them. So there was that whole element of like, he could listen to it, but if he saw me and my brothers watching, like listening to like Tupac and Biggie and he would almost be like, I still remember when my oldest brother bought a 50 Cent CD. Parents saw the CD, smashed up the CD, and we saved up lunch money for that one.
Oh no.
Had to get it again. So that was it. But really for me, it was a lot of jazz influence. My brothers showed me a lot of like pirate radio, like early like Deja Vu. I was like 8 years old hearing like Fleur D, hearing Double on radio before you could even like see people. So I just knew voices. I just knew that that's Fleur R. That's Double, so we had like our favorite MCs before we could even like see the faces.
Sick.
And then from there, it just influenced like my style. So yeah, I'll say a lot of rap music, a lot of jazz music and gospel music together, yeah.
That's nice, man.
Pirate radio was definitely a thing. I remember the one radio station that I knew when I was growing up was Vibes FM. And that was, obviously, Courtney Melody's my uncle, innit? So even all of that, it's mad. And my main source of music growing up was definitely the TV channels like MTV, Channel U.
Channel U. Yeah.
Yeah,
before AKA, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before
Them days, man.
Let's just go and talk about what we was just talking about, the test of faith that you get being in this industry and everything that it does to you. All the hurdles you have to overcome, how many times you've almost been taken out of character, how many times you might have been called out your name. Do you get what I mean? So let's talk about that. I don't know, for me, I feel like it's always an ongoing battle. Do you get what I mean? Especially because I'm still at the starting stages of my career. I haven't put out like my debut mad project yet. Like I put out an EP, but like that was before I knew how to properly make music. And then the bigger you get, and the more people are looking at you, it's just like bare paranoia. And you're very conscious of the way that people treat you and speak to you. I come from Brixton. So I'm not used to people talking to me a certain way, but I can't wild out, I can't act up. And it's not just because I'm a woman of God. It's because you don't want to be the angry black girl in the room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
And more time is some people, the way they show their love, it's a bit different, you know? I've had to understand love through a different way. You know, the ones that, like, it's like a heavy-handed, double heavy-handed. I've had man grab my head, whoa, I love you, mate.
That's crazy.
Before it was too late, the side, I was just like, what the fuck, like, not to swear, but I'm just saying that it can be boisterous and it can be soft. And some people might not want to take a photo, they just bless you up. Listen, man, I love your work, keep going. And then some people want to chew your ear off.
Yeah.
They won't leave
That's
you.
where I'm more like, do you know what I mean? Like, just
Especially if you're
dodging
tired
it.
as well, if you've had a long day already.
As an artist, but when are
and
you not
receiving
tired
that,
though?
Yeah, it's mad. Like
When are you not
you've had a
tired?
full day and someone's talking to you like you're fresh. Like, yo, so when you did that, what was that like? What was this like? And I think it's like there's no manual as well on how to navigate that of like being like a public figure. Like there's no manual on, okay, so how do I respond when someone does this or someone encroaches on my space?
You know what it is? What I find it, what I'm responding to, I gotta slow myself down. You know, then once there, it's like, because when it's done nicely, it's just feels warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm in Nando's eating food with my kids and, excuse me, mate, do you mind if I get a photo? It's like, I'm just thinking in my head like, bro, is that what you done? You couldn't even just say, oh, it's not really that time, or, you know what I mean? I'm in the toilet, back to do my thing. Man comes in there, excuse me, you think? Like, I can't look, no shaking, no foot, man, I want to take photos in the toilet, bro. They're not actually watching what's
happening.
So it's mad, but you have to slow down, explain to them, even though it should be clear. But you know these ones there, it's like, it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
It's unpredictable, but then, because it's love, you just gotta make sure it's love, because sometimes I've had them ones where it's, I know you. You're Tempety, yeah?
Oh, no, stop it.
Thinking, I try to just be blind to it, you get me? But when I see, for instance, or my boy will say, I swear that person's filming, you know? And these times I'll look up
had
now,
that in the airport.
and then I just see someone doing a slide.
That's crazy.
It's like, wow, like,
I just, to
it's
touch
just
base
not
on what
nice.
you said, yeah, about like someone come up to you and was like, oh, like what, Tempety? I was thinking like, I just think that when people do that, it's out of sheer ignorance. It's not like,
Mad.
because sometimes I feel like people do it because they know that that's not you.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? But
Yeah,
because people
that
don't know
as
how
well.
to approach people, they think, you know when people make jokes in awkward situations? I feel like sometimes it's a situation like that where you've approached saying, oh, are you the person that you're always with?
Yeah.
But you know that it's not, you know that I'm not that
They say, I
person.
swear you look like DW, you know? I swear you look like DW. Like, if you know, just say you know. And if you're not sure...
Why don't you
like
just
I
say,
said,
are you?
Because
Instead
it's
of-
love, you can't... It's like, like they could be nervous, like, oh my God, is it?
I've had bare times where it's been
Wow.
like, oh, you look like that Cristale girl, you know? And I say, is it? You know what? I've never had that before, you know? And they say, is it? Like, and then it will be like, either my mum or my partner will be like, it's her. And then they'll be like, oh my days, like, da-da-da-da-da. And I say, yeah, but you just gotta have fun with people, because then that shows my, like, playful side as well. Do you get what I mean? I've never let it go too far where the person, like, necessarily walks away or anything. Like, I'll always be like, yeah, it's me. Do you get what I mean? But
I'll let them leave on it's not me.
I think that's good. And I think sometimes people are in genuine disbelief, you know, because they just can't believe that they're seeing you in real life.
To be fair, I
And they're not
understand that.
sure. And sometimes, but that's just me trying to maybe give them a blag. I just think maybe you're really not sure, like you can't believe it.
Yeah.
How'd that buck up on this person? Is it really you? Or maybe you look a bit different, I don't know.
speaking about love, though, love is different because you're talking about love, like receiving it from people that are consumers.
Yes.
But you also got to look at it as well from the perspective of love, so-called love, from the people that work with you. I've had instances where it's just like, you got people on your team and they do certain things because it's out of love, but that ain't my love language, though. Do you get what I mean? So it's just
How
like,
you
if-
receive it is different. Yeah.
it's different. So if you try to plan out my every move for me, like I'm a robot, or like Like it's just like, yeah, you see me being this type of artist,
Yeah.
but I'm the vessel.
Right.
So
yes.
you gotta get my input as well, what you wanna do with my career.
Yes.
But they're doing it out of love and out of wisdom and because you're older than me and da-da-da-da-da. And realistically, none of us know any more than the other person.
Right.
Do you get what I mean? So
That's the reals.
I think sometimes as well, I find it crazy how, like, you can inspire a lot of the newer generation, like people coming up, but they don't know that when they have their moment, they also inspire us. It's kind of like a cycle, do you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm going too off a bit, but just going off the back of what you said, I feel sometimes when you get too prideful or egotistical, you don't realise that, like, there's a saying, I don't know the exact words, but it just says, like, don't think you're ever too grown to follow the young man because he might find new ways of doing stuff that you never thought of before. So it's not always about who's older or who's got more wisdom or my way's the right way, because there's no wrong and right. It's more so subjective, like, how do you want to do things? So I think that's super important, like, knowing what people's love language is. It's crazy because with the fans, they don't even know what you want and there's some things you can't control, but yeah, I do feel like, yeah, man, you can't be too up on your pedestal or too grown to, like, take knowledge from the youngers and, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot for us to learn from all of us, it's just, it's a mad cycle.
Now, just even to build off that, I think it's like, because innovation comes from there. Like, I find for me, I'm constantly learning. Like, I was mentoring, before I started really doing music, because I feel like any moment I've had has been very recently. So it's been like adjusting to that, but a lot of even those moments came from me learning from some of the people I was mentoring. They'll be like, oh, let me hear some of your raps when I was just doing that. And then they'll be like, but what do you like to listen to? And I'll be like, yeah, I listen to jazz, I listen to lo-fi, I listen to that. And they'll be like, why don't you rap on things that you actually like? And some of that innovation actually came from the people I was mentoring. Do you understand?
Okay, see.
So I think that's the thing. But I think just even to touch on what you said about, like, supporters and, like, how they might behave, I think for me, I feel like a late bloomer in this. I feel like out of everyone here, I feel like it's only 2024 when I felt what it is like to be clocked every day. Before that wasn't a thing. I made music. It wasn't a thing where I made music and then these people who I've never met in my life see me. So I feel like it's difficult adjusting to that, you know, with, like, the moment it starts happening. Whereas I guess if you've been experiencing that for several years, you almost become accustomed. Would you say you become more comfortable with it over time? That's the question I have. That's kind of like for both of you, really, and yourself, like...
And who's so?
And
me?
Yeah, because I think... Because you're talking like when you were talking now, you're speaking like you've worked out strategies.
You just treat people how you want to be treated, full stop, that's it.
This is it. Yeah. Simple. So yeah, some people, when they see me, they like, D-double-E, really loud, When I say Wagwan, they're like, wow, you speaking low. And I'm like, yeah, Wagwan. Like, oh. And it's like, now he's calming down. You see what I'm saying? Because it's you don't know you don't really know us. You know what I'm saying? So it's just for people to understand more and just kind of the energies connect. Like I said, it's love. So
I feel like, in the age of digital, like, uprising and stuff like that, I feel like the reason why people might approach you like that, well, us like that, is because they can get to us whenever they want to. It's like the invention of FaceTime. It's just like, I could just call my cousin in Jamaica right now and da-da-da-da-da. But my cousin's friend that don't know me can also go on their phone and get a picture of me or get a video of me, and it's that connection of the person being in your hand. You feel like they're there. You feel like you know them. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's subconsciously, you just feel like you're on FaceTime to somebody, like to a relative or whatever. So when you see them in real life, it's like, I know you, you're hilarious. Like, you've been telling me jokes for years. Like, do you get me? So that's why I just see it as, like, you have to think from the consumer's perspective. Like, remember, as an artist, you also consume music. So if you saw your favorite artist today, if you would still be dumbfounded, that's how people feel about you. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But it took me long to wrap my head around stuff like that, because one, I don't feel like I'm gone yet. So I don't feel like there's anything for you to be getting gassed over. I'm still like, you'll catch me walking with the Marks and Spencer's bags in my hand because my mum's making me carry the bread and all of that. Do you get what I'm trying to? I'm a normal person.
Yeah,
Do you get what I
exactly.
mean? And I feel like they don't realise that because when you're on the internet and you got followers and you're automatically put on a pedestal. Do you get me? But it's with great power, great responsibility.
What you doing, man?
Yeah.
What you doing around there? These times you're in your own end.
Yeah.
What? You're not flying in a helicopter. You know, like, what do you expect, man? Floating or, yeah. That's how it goes.
How do you guys deal with it? Like when someone, because you're banks, innit? So how do people approach you?
But even though you say that, I still feel like how you feel, like just normal. But you know what's so crazy? I was gonna say, like, I remember when I used to take train, yeah, and I was kind of first getting traction. Bro, people used to stop me and be like, why are you on the train? I was thinking, bro, why are you on the train?
Yeah.
Same reason. I'm trying to get to where I'm going, do you get me? Like, but it's so mad as well because I think in rap culture, not like everyone's on it, but you see when you start doing the whole braggy thing, flexy, it gets peaked because now you're falling into the trap of lifestyle. You have to keep it up. So at some points, especially due to my messaging in my music, it probably wasn't like that. I didn't know why they were asking me that question because to me it just felt like, yes, I'm on the train, like going to where I'm going. But as I've got like bigger and grown more, I do feel like a bit caged, unfortunately, like even though I shouldn't, but sometimes I feel like I can't just do normal things. And not like everyone knows me. I know that it's more in my community and like people that are into our type of music, but yeah, you just start feeling super restricted because people start expecting things of you like that may not, you know, be necessary, and having to upkeep this lifestyle like you don't want to fly economy or like something crazy. It's just, it's so trivial, and on the grand scheme of things, it really is trivial because we're all going to the same place, but I think the more you put yourself out there, and especially because authenticity and you being real selves, people do feel like they know you. I know people that I followed, like there was some girl I used to follow, I thought she's super funny. I saw her out one day and I waved at her and I'm thinking, shit, this girl actually don't know me. This is before I was like even where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So people must feel like that about me. But then in the same breath, being that artist, and certain things aside, it's like you have to set that boundary and you actually do have to protect yourself. Like people do feel like they know you, so sometimes you have to not be in certain spaces or you have to have people with you, or like, I might have to roll with security one day when I don't really want to, but it just to keep that barrier because you don't know how people are gonna approach you, you know? But it's crazy because you also don't wanna let your ego grow too much because it's not a that, but it's not really you, it's other people, you know?
You can't remember me now.
Oh,
You
that's
can't
the worst.
remember
It's
me.
like,
I think you're gone.
Remember me, we was there, we was chilling,
Yeah, like what?
2017. Oh, so you don't remember me? All right, that's all right. That's all
You
right.
network so much, you meet so much
So many
supporters.
different people, do you know what I mean?
In terms of like, before, like when I was like in Lotto Boys, I'm not gonna lie, my ego was very large. Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, no, but it was large, and it was a lot of like, it was fair dues in it, to be fair, but obviously a lot of it was gas. Do you know what I mean? We did fly economy, but then obviously we did get clocked sometimes and stuff like that. So obviously, in the back of my head, I'm like, should we start flying first class? Like, is that where we should be and stuff like that? And I feel like for like now, where I am now, as in like, because I'm no longer doing like secular music, I'm doing gospel now. And obviously that's just because my journey's taken a different edge, and it's a whole different level of humility.
I love that.
And the thing is like, it's deep, man, because the message has changed, isn't it? Like I'm no longer like, the songs are not about me, girls or whatever, but the songs are about like God, do you know what I'm saying? So the light ain't on me no more. So when people approach me, it shocks me more now because I'm like, oh, bro, like you guys still see me as an artist? Like, even though like I do gospel music, you still see me as an artist. And I was on the train and I do see people looking and filming and stuff like that. And I'm just there chilling in my head. I'm thinking, none of this actually matters to me no more.
Yeah.
So seeing the difference for me from where I've come from, like it hits a bit different, you know, because I'm like, bro, like I really never used to get the train. What train? Damn, we used to book out, give me a Mercedes just to go London and come back. Eish, give me. Or a Land Rover or something, you know what I mean? And I remember I used to like drive around in the ends, renting a Porsche, like that you're not getting £600 a day. Yeah, and I'm renting a Porsche like a week. Oh, Jai, listen, and I think for me, at that point, looking back, I'm like,
It wasn't necessary.
it wasn't necessary. And obviously where I am now, obviously I'm married now, and obviously I'm living with my wife, and I've realized this life is about, especially like the Christian walk, it's a lot more to do with dying to self than living. But that's where the humility comes in, man. Trust me.
It's deep.
You're preaching.
You went there. You took it.
I'm not gonna
You took it
cap.
straight away.
I can't help it.
Take us
Convo's
to
deep now,
that
Convo's-
was it's hitting
Nah,
me.
it's real.
Man,
It's a real. It's a real.
Still.
Man, I understand what you're saying as well about surrendering to the things that you want. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like in the terms of don't give in to your every desire because not everything you want is good for you.
True.
Do you get what I mean? Because there's been times that even me, down to I don't have a car, but I have a license. So I've been zip carring. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And I make it my personality. I get trained. I will get on the bus. I don't care about stuff like that. The only time I will really like get cabs is if I know that the studio is like an hour and a half away and I need to get in the mindset of being in the booth for how many hours. Do you get what I mean? So I need to be chilled. On a normal day, I will get public transport and a lot of people like just think like, bro, what are you doing on TFL? Like and they start questioning like, right, is your bread not there and stuff like that?
Not
No.
like that.
If it takes me 20 minutes to get to Central on a train, but it takes me an hour and a half to get to Central by car, I ain't got time to waste. You only live once, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna choose them 20 minutes each and every time. So even like the whole thing what you're saying about the £600 a day portion, stuff like that, it's all lifestyle and it's all consumerism and you got to be careful what you're feeding yourself like through your eyes
trust me.
because it's all like fake. I don't think people understand how fake social media and everything is like and all this lifestyle stuff. It doesn't exist and it does not last forever. Do you get what I mean?
You know what's so mad as well, yeah? When I look back, I was like, why did I get the Porsche? It was because when my mom told me, don't watch those music videos, I was still watching those music videos.
That's what influence.
So when you look back, you start thinking, raw, like, even like the type of girls that I was into is because of the music videos. And I'm like,
You know
raw,
what,
like...
though? It's good that you had that experience and you come
Yeah.
through on the
Yeah.
other side.
Yeah,
I think
facts.
there's some people, it's good for them to go through experiences
Yes.
when they can come through, and some people don't make it. So you're just one of those ones that you had to say, I was the same. I've been through stages where I'm doing a mad thing, doing this. I look back and, you know, life is up and down, innit? Yeah, so there was a good time and then when I come down a bit, I was like, raw. Come down, but if I didn't do that and I didn't do this, I'm all converting it into a yard and other stuff. What? So then I could have
I don't want to think about this.
been there. What I could have done
But you
this.
have to
But then
experience
it
it,
went
though.
there. But then when you get another chance, and you can still do things right. You know what I'm saying?
You got to remember, people that are given platforms like yourself and like the rest of us, I feel like we're given this platform to make these mistakes so that we can influence others to not make the same mistakes.
Exactly.
And if you didn't, and any of us didn't get to experience the quote-unquote finer things in life, then we wouldn't know. Like, how do you know you wouldn't get to a place in your journey or in your Christian walk where you're still craving those things because you didn't get to experience it when you was younger? Do you get what I mean? So I feel like, yeah, not everything in life is supposed to be experienced, but when you do have that experience, don't think back on it and think like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I've done that countless times, like, especially when I'm in the studio and I'm thinking, bro, I should have really cooked myself a food instead of ordering this food.
Yeah.
And then how much money you spend on Deliveroo and Uber Eats and da-da-da-da-da. And it's just like, if I just cooked, the food would have lasted me 3 days and I would have been all right. Do you get what I mean? But you make those mistakes so you don't make them again.
Yeah, true.
Do you get me?
Facts.
And I think as well, the level of relatability that you have with people who are starting that journey, who have a similar mindset, is powerful because you've been through it as well. I think that it gives power to your voice because then you can talk to them and say, look, I know what it feels like to have that pressure. And I think for yourself as well, because you know what it is? It's like, I do think, because the space I sit in is like alternative underground rap. I don't have that pressure from me. It's like I relate with you in the sense that if I go on a train or if I'm on, people almost, they expect that from me. That's part of my brand to a degree. They want to see me in those spaces. But I think I would find it difficult because, do you know what it is? Like, what we talk about, naturally, people want to feel that, the realness of it.
Yes.
So if I had a bar saying, I don't know, I'm in my truck, like, they want to see me in my truck.
That's the
And
thing.
that's what's going to make them come to my show. That's what's going to make them love me as an artist. That's my bread. That's my business. You understand? So I do think there's a difficult tension within that, because in as much as it's almost like, the pressure, it's almost like the inverse of that is if I was like rolling around Central in a Lambo, my audience would almost be like, well done, but okay.
Yeah, I get
so
it.
it's almost like
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It's almost like whatever's put out there, you're held accountable to, and that's the difficult thing. Like whether it be, I don't know, I'm the best at this, or let's say I'm a mic man and know what, like if you crash me, it's game over. If someone then chucked it with you and you're like, nah, then people be like, wait, hang about. That's double. Do you know what I mean? So
I think
Yeah, I'm
people
a
just-
train man.
people
I'm a
forget.
train man. Straight Elizabeth line. That's me. Yeah.
People
quick and
forget that
simple.
artists
What?
have
Tottenham
lines as
Court
well.
Road, what?
Quickly.
Yeah. What?
So how would you guys say your religion competes against your public personas or you as artists?
I would say it's built into my personality. So my mum, she's from Mandeville, Manchester, and my mum's side is very Christian church, and my dad's side is Kingston and very yardy, gully side. You know, walk and talk the talk, you know? Yeah, so I think that me as a character is kind of got both inside, but the faith and the good deeds is more my side, you know? Like obviously when you're young, you make mistakes, you do certain things, but you get wise. Yeah, so I feel like I've had a lot of wise upbringing
Yeah.
from that side. Yeah.
What would you say, Imran?
I think, comparison-wise, like before, like my lifestyle was not matching. So in terms of competing, I didn't probably look Christian to anybody, to be fair. And I think that's ignorance in it, because I didn't understand like the faith. I didn't understand Christ. I didn't understand God. I didn't understand it. I was just kind of just doing it because my family done it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have my own relationship with God, you know what I mean? And that was where the standpoint was. And people can definitely see it. One thing I didn't let go of though was like prayer, do you know what I mean? And I stayed there. Like that was my own personal thing. But outside, like you wouldn't think I was Christian. Like I was active. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think for me, like it was for example, between the transition where I came out of like secular music going into gospel, in this gap here is where I found it like the hardest, because I've got this mirror in my face called the Bible, and I'm looking at myself and looking at this, and I'm like, if Jesus is my example, like I don't look like this man.
Yeah, it's not matching
I have
up.
nothing to, what? This man is far. And I'm like, so where does he get active? Like, where does he beat people up? Does he not punch nobody for how they're talking to him? And then nothing like that. Like, what, you're on the cross, so you're just ready to just... And I'm thinking, well, how do you respond to that? Because obviously, again, being from like, obviously I'm from Aston, in Birmingham. And being from the area, you have like a subliminal thought of, if anyone was to ever try, then like you kind of always ready in a sense. But I think where I am now, I don't even really think about that stuff.
I love that.
And it's weird, and I wish I could explain it in like a book or something, but boy, it's weird. I don't know if you guys ever experienced that. It's like, it's just...
Yeah, it's like you've just kind of just let go of certain things, you know? Because like, I feel like I'm naturally someone like that in terms of, you know, just like I feel like, yeah, you know, when you walk in somewhere and someone else is thinking, wow, we need a thing. What can I bring my thing, dog? What can we... And you're like, no, man. And then you just kind of just believe. You know what I mean? And you go there,
you're gonna be
you can get in the dark corner, you see them, and then you're like, yes, man, as long, you know, you just, you're blessed.
You're easy,
And
you're
then
easy, you're
somehow,
fam.
like, your energy is protected
Yes.
because you're just walking like this.
Yeah.
Some people walk with some dark, I
Yeah.
don't know, it's just, you can just see.
Feel it.
Ready for
You can
war.
feel it.
Yeah,
They can
always
talk
there.
nice, but it just looks, you know what I'm saying?
Dark in it, spiritually.
They're looking for it though as well.
Good energy is good energy.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's a bit of a power trip, and that's when the dark side of ego comes in. And unfortunately, I feel like growing up in the ends and on the road, it's the same as in Brum or in London, like any hood. Where the things we learn are backwards, like the way to move. Like you think that, if, you know, letting man know what I'm on or doing certain things that shows that I'm the boss or I'm the big man, but really and truly, when you get older, you realise certain people don't even deserve your reaction.
Yeah.
You don't even really deserve to
The bigger
even
man
make...
walks away.
Yeah, to make you think that you're even niggling at me, but we grow up in the ends with a mad ego, like we have to defend it all the time. And I remember when I was younger, like, we used to, like, me and my girls used to roll in batches, but you know, like, you just be looking for a fight, looking for an issue.
When you're a teenager,
it's the excitement, you just want to, like, you know what I'm saying? So, but on a deeper level, I do think a lot of men have, like, a darker energy. You're right. And I think as well to touch base on what you were saying, like you feel like you're at peace now where you don't need to get into certain things. I agree with that. I don't think I'm fully healed in that sense where I don't look for no problem, but I'm in more of a space where it's like, yeah, I'm not going to react or give people my energy in that way. Or like when I go certain places, I don't try to think of a negative outcome because I know I attract what I think about. If I'm thinking I'm going to fight and be in a madness, that's what it's going to be. But when I stand firm and know that I'm loved, I'm respected, I'm in a safe space, you kind of step differently.
100%.
You can smile.
Yeah,
man.
Get rid of that stern face, smile.
Yeah.
Just,
But I
people don't
think,
even like it when you smile.
But I think it's difficult at the same time, though. I think it's difficult because it's like, because the experience that you had, Imran, I feel like I had that experience. So I grew up in Kilburn, then I moved out, but I feel like I had a faith journey. My faith started when I was in secondary school. So that's like, what, 15 years ago? I'm integrated in my faith in a different way. And I had to navigate being around a level of badness whilst being a person of faith. And I think as well, I think that I wrote a poem a long time ago when I was in uni, and basically one of the lines in there was like, how does it feel when you've been in war, you're no longer in war, but you're still holding your shield? And the whole premise of that was like obviously, I'm gonna say this with like, when I was living in Kilburn and I would get in fights and I would just be a hothead in that sort of way, when I look back, I'm like, it makes sense. In actual fact, I'll say my school life was easier because of it. If I just wanted to be honest, because of what we were all like, me being on that made life easier for me. But then when you're 10 years later, if you're still walking with that shield, you're not even in the same context. You're just living off memories, innit? So I think that's like the reality of it is like our environments that we came up in. If you were perhaps more meek, not necessarily humble, but more meek, you would genuinely have a harder time, factually. And I think that's sometimes why we carry it, because it served a purpose for us when we were younger.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, like survival mode.
Survival mode, you know, that sort of way.
But you can still survive just being blessed.
Yeah.
But
we've
then
not
there are certain things, you know, like certain things, just because when you're blessed, but then certain man come with certain trainers, certain the school uniforms got the hole on the arm. And then they're getting dissed in school. And even though the character's blessed, they're coming from a... So then kids pick up on it. Yeah. They're not really caring whether you're cool or not. They're just thinking, look at him, you know what I mean? So I guess you're right. You got to stiffen up a bit.
It is, and I think as well, like, an ego one, I feel like, because I look at your journey and I think that's cold, you understand? My difficulty was being, because obviously the culture is the thing where I grew up on rap, grew up on hip hop, grew up on grime, grew up on all these things. So when I found faith, I didn't discard those things. So I found faith and I thought, okay, this is my journey. It was quite difficult navigating that through secondary school, then uni, then everything. It was probably the biggest test for me, because I'll be in studio, man, them are bagging up and doing whatever like that. But I loved music so much, so I thought, I'm not gonna, this is my calling. So I have to navigate being with man that are on this, even though I'm not on it. Yeah, that was hard. Yeah. That for me was the biggest test.
I feel like for me, the whole, obviously coming from South again, like it's installed in me, like even from young, if someone hits you, you hit them back. Do you know what I mean? And that's in any capacity. So, like even when D-Double was talking about, oh yeah, when you're in the room and you feel like you're in a space where you just know that you're blessed. You can smile a little bit. I rarely ever do because I've always got my guard up, and not just physically, spiritually as well. Because even circling back to what we was talking about before, when you're engaging with supporters and stuff like that, you can't hug everyone, you know?
Yeah,
you don't know what
exactly.
burdens or what spirit or what energy people is carrying. So for me, I just always I'm in the room for a bit with a screw face for maybe about 20 minutes or half an hour. And then when I recognize everything that's happening, I know when to let my guard down.
Yeah.
But I don't like using the word persona because then it feels like I put it on. I don't put it on. It's just the way that I am.
Yeah.
In the least ignorant, arrogant way possible.
Yeah.
This is just the way that I'm wired.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like, I'm just a bit until I'm not.
Yeah,
So
I think
that
that's
combating with my faith and everything like that, and the whole online presence and just existing as an artist and battling that with my faith. Like, even now, I don't swear in my music no more. I've made an effort, a conscious effort from a couple years ago. I said to myself, anything that I've got that's got a swear word in it was made maybe more than 3 years ago. I actually, even with the plugged in is we're on violence. If you listen to me, not one swear word came out my mouth. You don't need to swear to get your point across. And you don't have to always be aggressive to get your point across either. So I feel like that's just changed me in the way that I see things in terms of, don't get me wrong, I might let out a swear word, every now and again, just in my everyday life, but I made a conscious decision that when I'm in the studio, if I feel like I want to swear, I say something completely different because you just don't know whose ears the music is going to fall upon. And if I want to use my superpower for good and not evil, it's got to be clean. It's got to be clean. So, so then even that, and then just in contrast with how I am, I just try to be as meek as I possibly can on a day-to-day basis because I'm still me. I'm still tuggish. I'm still girly on one side, tuggish on one side, and I'm still just Cristale through and through. But it's just, I think a lot of it's about what your intentions are and making sure that your intentions are always clear and clean when you do anything that millions of people can be watching you.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? And when you're an artist, you have that responsibility because even if you're not filming yourself and you post it online, someone can film you and post it online.
Yeah.
And whatever you're doing in that moment where someone's filming you to post it online, you gotta make sure that it's clean cut because millions of people can see it. And then that's just the perspective and the viewpoint and the opinion of you, period.
Yeah.
But
That's pure. That's mad pure. That's mad pure.
That's what I would say with that. But I would like to ask everyone where they feel like they are in their spiritual journey at the minute. Because me, I have numerous amounts of times, but now more consciously, I'm at a stage where I'm fasting because I'm independent now and I haven't got clarity yet. Do you get what I mean? And that's what fasting provides. It provides clarity and allows you to see things from the perspective of the Lord. Do you get what I mean? And I feel like in order to get my debut project and all of that, clean cut and my ears and everything, all my senses and everything is in tune, I need to do things with intention.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean?
It's coming.
Where's everyone else?
It's coming. It's coming, trust me.
But where's everyone else?
I feel like a lot of things you said is super creative as well. You may not see, not like you may not see it because you're creative, but the stuff you're also doing to make sure that you're happy and your work aligns with who you are is super creative. To think, because I don't know if I could do that. If I could get to get in the booth and be like, oh, I'm not gonna swear because I care about how my message is being put across. It's like pushing yourself to find other ways to express yourself, and I respect that a lot. I would say for me, my opinion might be quite different from all of you on this table, and maybe a little controversial, but I grew up in a Pentecostal church. I grew up in a very Christian family. I was born again and everything, but I don't even feel like religion or my religion standpoint combats with my persona where I'm at now because I wouldn't say I'm actually that religious. I believe in God. I feel like I believe in the Bible. I believe in the story of Jesus. But there's a lot of things I've struggled with. Maybe it's from growing up in the church, congregation, as much as I believe like not overreacting in a bad way, there's a lot of things I don't believe in. Like I've seen bad things happen because people don't set boundaries or per se turn the other cheek. Do you get me? So I feel like there's still a certain stance and standpoint you need to have, and with imbalance. And I also believe that God, like we all have different relationships with God. We're like God's children. So I don't think it's right. And I'm not saying everyone is like this, but sometimes I used to find in church, in the congregation, people would like judge you and how you live your life and what you want to do because they feel like they know what's right and wrong. But God said, come as you are. Do you know what I mean? And you don't know the relationship with God. You don't know the things I pray to him about and the things that I say in our quiet time. You don't know the struggles I deal with. Do you get me? So it's mad. Like, I feel like in my adult years now, I've become way more spiritual. I still pray a lot, but I know I'm not perfect and I just don't try to be. Music has also been a big outlet for me where even though I feel like you do need a bit of ego, I feel like music has allowed my ego to die because I can get in the booth and talk my big talk and say what I want to say and get my anger out. But on a day-to-day, like, when people meet me, they'll be surprised at how kind I am because the persona, she's not fake. The Miss Banks is real, but that's a part of me and that's an expression. And I'm allowed to be whoever I want to be in that moment. If I'm angry, if I'm on smoke, if I feel sexy, like, that's my moment to have. I feel like
You're
I'm
allowed to do that.
Exactly. I'm allowed to have that. That's what keeps me sane. So I don't care who's to judge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But just in general, I feel like I'm a spiritual person and I have a moral compass. When I first started coming out, I was quite conscious in my music. I think I got led astray trying to chase bangers and make club hits. But naturally, religion aside, I was always super conscious, and that's an element I want to bring back. I think to align me, the real inner me, Tyra, with Miss Banks. So I think that's where I'm at in my spiritual journey. For once, like it's like I know my moral compass. I know for me what's right from wrong, and I know what I can do to make me feel, you know, comfortable and aligned with who I am. But I'm not the perfect Christian. I'm not. You know what I mean? But I do my part. God knows I pray. I still believe in him. I may not go to church every Sunday, but still in my heart. And yeah, I'm just trying to do right, best from what I know. So I don't know if that gives a clear...
That's mad. That's mad what you said,
relate
because
with
you
that.
said it was controversial, but I understood everything.
yeah.
Because you know what it
Yeah,
is, yeah, for me, obviously I said what my journey is, but I don't feel like I'm in a place that's any different to where you are. I'm not perfect. Just just because I'm fasting, I'm perfect.
No.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, today, this is how I feel. Before I started the journey to start fasting and whatever, I was in exactly the same position that you're in now. I grew up, I've always gone to church. I stopped going to church when I was like, 14? Because I was in a Pentecostal church and my spirit was uneasy. And from that age, that my discernment was like, something isn't right. And if it does, just because it's in church doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah.
So I stopped going and I was called defiant and all these different things. I still went to school, still got all my grades. I was still smart, still done everything, but it was just like, yeah, what, you don't want to come to church? And then the rest of my family started to realise certain things as well after I had left. So then my nan and my mum found this new church. We go to a Methodist church. Now we've gone since like maybe sixth form. That's what, 17, 18? I just turned 18 at the time when I went. It was the weekend after my birthday. I just turned 18 and I said, yeah, do you know what? I'm gonna go church with my mum today. She's been asking me, I'm actually gonna go. On the way to church, obviously poetry is what I grew up doing. On the way to church, I was listening to Drake and Janae Aiko from Time. And a lyric came into my head, people switching up on me in seconds like the minute hand. And I wrote a freestyle, like from that middle line to the top and then down to the bottom. That's the first proper freestyle that I posted that went what was quote unquote viral at the time, like my first couple thousand views. And it went from there. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I'm not perfect either. I don't think a perfect Christian doesn't exist. Do you get what I'm trying to say? A perfect believer in God doesn't exist, but as long as you know what your relationship is with God, it doesn't matter.
Do you know,
No one's perfect.
So interesting.
I feel like, just to touch on what you said, even me saying it's controversial, I think that's based on other people's opinions. Because I remember in early doors, I kind of came out and said that I wasn't religious, and I feel like because of where we come from, especially in Black culture, religion is everything, like across the board. So I remember getting a lot of backlash, but people don't even know I kind of even said I wasn't, just because I always felt like I was being judged. I felt like as soon as I said that this is my faith, it was always something. So I just would rather say, bro, this isn't, because I don't even want the headache of it.
You know when people say that your body is your temple, yeah? That could be viewed in many different capacities. It's not just got to do with what you put into your body, like through food and stuff like that.
The things you
your
listen
your
to.
church is within you. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So even you saying you're not religious just based off of what other people's perspective is and what you've heard people say to you, what people deem you as.
Yeah.
Your church is within you.
Facts.
Your body is your temple. So when you're saying
I've never looked at it like
you're gonna go into the closet, or you're gonna go and do whatever, and you're gonna pray in private, God still sees you and He hears you.
Amen.
That's actually,
You know what I mean?
that's actually
That's what I'm saying.
even a biblical perspective. But and that's the thing. Do you know what? Like, there's so much. Like, you said something, Cristale, about you were in the car and you wrote that poem, yeah. And what inspired the poem was actually a Drake Janaiko song, right? This is so interesting because when you said that, I was thinking that even sounds like a God thing. Like you getting that inspiration, then writing that, right?
On the way to church.
On the way to church.
My first church visit.
But it's like, because sometimes, like, because I'm a Christian, right? To answer like the question, but it's like, I feel like I relate with Miss Banks a lot in terms of some of the restrictions. Like, arguably the reason why I've made a type of music I make and I go to the sort of shows, like the sort of artists, like I'm really in that sort of like alternative rap space or MC space, is, and I include my faith in that. The reason why I didn't, even though I'm super passionate about my faith, I made a conscious decision to say, nah, I don't want to be a gospel rapper. And the reason why wasn't because I had a lack of confidence in my faith or a lack of passion. It was actually because I wanted to dodge what you're talking about.
Yes.
Because I knew, because as much as I was passionate about my faith, I mean, from 14, I made a lot of decisions. Man, they were trapping, man, they were doing that, and I navigated that in real life. And that's where it's hard, like navigating that in real life, I felt was a lot harder than what I saw online where certain people would be saying, like, Jesus, 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 but I'm like, I know you, you know what I mean?
Like Bible bashing.
That Bible bashing.
Yeah.
And I actually navigated my branding like that because I didn't want to face the judgment or the sort of like, hey, you need to do this, you can't listen to this music, you can't listen to secular music. Because like, when I think about my relationship with God and when I think about even like the God of the Bible, it's interesting how your calling was found, Cristale, part of it in a car listening to Drake and Janaiko.
Do you know what it was? I wasn't even in the car. I was like walking. I remember I was walking past King's College Hospital when it happened, and I think we was gonna get the bus from outside King's College Hospital up to Dulwich where the church is. But do you get what I'm trying to say? Even circling back to what Banks was saying, like what other people say.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows, yeah. And me personally, I try not to take what people say to heart because sometimes people don't know the meaning of what they say. People don't understand that the pen is mightier than the sword and word is power. Do you get what I'm trying to say? They don't understand that. I take words to heart. They're very serious, but I understand that other people don't see their words as a weapon. So if that wasn't intended as such, then maybe I shouldn't take as such. And it's all about perspective, so you shouldn't let what other people say to you affect you. So with that being said, if you have that power to do that, to block out what other people say, we all know that if you're following your faith, and so are you, and all of us are, and then it just gets to a point where you feel like what you did yesterday, you don't feel good about it when you do it today, that's your conviction within yourself. That's between you and God. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So if you don't feel guilty for listening to secular music after going to church on Sunday, then that's not what you should feel guilty for. But if you are close enough in your journey, then you will feel it. You will feel that what you're doing is wrong. And that's where you will know that I need to stop.
Yeah. So I did my first ever tour at the end of last year, first ever tour. And there was a moment in Manchester when I looked at the crowd and I said something I've never said before in a show ever. I looked at the crowd and I said, I'm a youth worker that raps. At the time, I wasn't working as a youth worker, but that's what I'd been doing for all of the years before, like, doing like music more seriously in that sort of way. And I said I'm a youth worker who raps. And I think part of my calling, why I make music and what I want people to take from it is that, like, I feel like I'm a light. I feel like my functional role is to entertain people and give people a level of substance through my music. So I am intentional about that. I think that's my life. I think my whole life has always been the spectator, like being involved in badness from a very young age, not being involved in badness, and then being a consistent spectator of badness for a very long time whilst not getting involved, which gives me a perspective which I feel like I can, give. Working in youth work, some of my young people getting involved in madnesses and life-threatening things, like
show them the way.
peak things. So I feel like part of my thing is to guide, and I feel that's like God's call for me to guide. I'm doing it in a very vibey way, because I think sometimes it can be too on the nose and you're not just preaching to the person, but like doing it in a very vibey way. But I feel like that's my thing, yeah.
Yeah, man. I feel like my calling is a bit like that. Yeah, it's like an insight, but it's just turned into inspiration and help to give people a voice and belief that, more closer belief that things can be done. I come from a little era where everything I was watching was in a different country, like Americans and Jamaica, and when it was England, it was like pop, Yeah, and right now, I'm at a stage where I just want to give back to the youth and just like help the youth to steer what you steered yourself from, or just at least give them some knowledge where you can be cool, but you don't have to do that. You can still be respected. You don't have to do that to get respect, And
Respect comes from within as well.
Yeah, because talent is a different subject. When you're good at something, that can just drive you through everywhere you want to go. All the bad people, the good people, they see the talent. They're like, wow, this is great. And then you just gotta just monitor where you are at that point, So yeah, I just talent can save people, So yeah, I want to just help to put more light on that in my next years, like work with the youth projects, help people to just see. There's so many different things you can do under the umbrella, cameras and poetry, like you said. And when you get the platform as well, this is when they take things serious, when the platforms come.
In terms of like where I'm at with my faith, I think I don't think you can be in a good place in your faith, for me. I think that's why it's faith.
Exactly.
And I think with God, like, having that personal relationship and seeking him, having my secret place, it's been building from when I kind of just said, you know what, I'm going to take this seriously and then go on my journey to seek Christ. Because obviously the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added. So I wanted all these things to be added without seeking him. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, you know what, let me do it your way and let's find out if it works. And I put it to the test and it worked. And obviously that's the only thing I can bank on. I can bank on the evidence of it works. I think for me, like having my secret place with God and going there. And what my secret place looks like is me going into prayer. And sometimes I think like in prayer, when we want to hear from God, we talk too much. I feel like you're going in there telling God all of your problems, but you're not kind of listening to see what he's saying.
Or saying thank you.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, I would step in there with gratitude always, and sometimes I will just sit there and I will hear more then than when I'm praying and in prayer and it's shouting and it's tongues. And it's deeper than that, do you know what I mean? And that's when I started realizing a lot of the stuff that we're seeing now is just a lot of culture. Let me be real and honest, do you get what I'm saying? Because obviously when you see how people, different manifestations of how like Christianity works in different spaces and different cultures, the pinnacle point is the man, and his name is Jesus, and that's just what it is for me. So obviously when I'm seeking him, I'm just looking at his character, like almost like he's my friend. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, what are you like? And the closer you get is the more it's by byproduct you end up being like him. And obviously for my music, in terms of like how I want it to like impact people, I want it to be like, I haven't really thought what I want it to be for the mass. But when I'm in studio and I'm making the music, I just know that at this point, I feel good. And obviously at another point in my journey, I still felt good. At an earlier point in my journey, I still felt good. And again, like the conviction, it grows. The more you seek and the more the conviction grows, kind of thing. And I had this statement, like, if you judge somebody for where they're at, you might kill where they're going. And that's why I don't judge nobody.
Serious. That's serious.
Yeah. And obviously leading into that, obviously you saying like, in terms of like the music that you listen to, having that effect on like the younger people. What I want to show them is that your journey matters, because my thing is somebody messaged me and was like, oh, delete all your old music because like it's profanity and da-da-da. I'm thinking, yeah, you're a wallad. I said, I was like, go and tell David delete what he did with Bathsheba. You wouldn't have a Bible if you didn't have the badness.
Period.
Like you wouldn't have anything to attest or teach if you don't have a story. Like how could you compare? You wouldn't have anything for Jesus to be compared to. For him to be perfect, you have to see all the imperfect around him to know that there was one like perfect man to walk this earth. So then it makes everything about him. Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel like in the world of like, where egos rising and everything becomes about us at the end of the day. Do you get what I'm saying? But the truth is, it's not about us because we're widely affecting people. Do you know what I'm saying? What about you guys?
But what do we want our music to do?
Yeah.
I think for me, yeah, especially because I'm on this journey and whatever, no, we're all on a journey, but I just feel like what Banks said earlier, like, if I feel like this today, I should be able to go and feel like that today, put the song out even when I'm not feeling like that anymore, and it's gonna reach someone that might have been feeling that I felt in the studio. Do you get what I'm saying? Whether it's a good feeling, a bad feeling, whatever, not. It's not about, I don't even think it's about good and bad. I think it's just about feeling in general and relatability and just letting people realise that they're not alone in their emotions. Do you get what I mean? Because like, I could put out a song today and it can reach someone that doesn't have someone to talk to, but they feel like they're talking to me. Do you get what I mean? So I just feel like it's just about that. It's just about being human and existing and letting your emotions come and go, putting it into art, giving it to the world so that people can just feel a little bit less alone. That's what I feel like.
Serious.
Do you know what's mad deep as well? So just to touch on that, I've had more like people message me now like, yo, bro, thank you for the music you're releasing. I was going to commit suicide. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How do you
even do
a lot of it was more of like, yo, bro, like I saw your testimony. Thank you for your testimony and your journey. So I'm thinking, if it wasn't for the journey, you wouldn't have nothing to account for you to be like, he went from here to here, from depression to now he's okay. Do you get what I'm saying? So you have hope because of the journey kind of thing. So it's good to like, you can't remove, again, like, I don't think it's bad. I just think it's just part of the story kind of thing. Do you get what I'm saying?
Time tells, man. Time tells.
You don't have to kill the version of yourself that you used to be in order to exist as the version of yourself that you are now. Do you know what I mean? That they still gotta be there for someone else. Do you get what I mean? You gotta personify your ego and leave it where it was and then just move on in a different directions. Like, as artists, we know that creativity and like our existence of what it is fluid. Like, today I could wear all black, tomorrow I might wear all blue. The next day I might wear all yellow. It's just based off of how I feel that day. But what? Just because I'm wearing all yellow today, I don't remember the days that I was wearing all black.
And I think as well, I think like strict cultural religion is the opposite of that, because it stifles creativity. Because I think it stifles creativity, and me, I like words. Like I like all of that stuff, and I like to like just think until like sometimes it hurts my head. Because like, do you know what it is? Yeah. Do you know what it is? It's like sometimes I think people that are like living in like a strict religious thing that stifles creativity, I think they're not thinking. Because I look
like
at
robots, innit?
I'll get my Bible out. Okay, I'll look at Psalms. I'll like Psalm 2, Psalm 3, Psalm. I'm like, okay, cool. So this was written in that year. Oh, that was written 3 years after, that was written 5 years after. Okay, we've got one psalm where David's talking about how anxious he was and how he feels like dying. End psalm. And I'm like, hang about. The psalm ended with David, who wrote it in the Bible, with him feeling like dying at the end of the psalm.
Yeah.
And if someone was writing songs today and was like, oh, I'm a Christian artist, for example, and sent that song out, they'll be like, why is there no hope in this story? Da, 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 da. It's like,
exactly.
But I was expressing my human experience. You know, I wrote a song called I Told Him about one of my students that almost died. And I was like, when I write the story, it's going to end how it ended, because that's what happened. I'm not going to listen to anyone, any faith person who's like, yo, man, you need to make it end on a good ending because there's always joy in the morning. No, when the morning comes, I'll write that song. I'm not in the morning right now.
Yeah.
So I think even like when you're looking at albums, like, I feel like, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like to stay away from that, because it's like, I can't allow the creativity that God's given me to be stifled because of your cultural opinions.
Or is that why you don't like projects and stuff like that?
I love projects. I'm saying that's why I don't like to put my art in like
Project
religious
form.
spaces.
Oh, okay.
I don't like to put it in, I don't like it to like market myself in that, because if I do that, a lot of the like staunch religious people would have looked at my previous work and be like, what do you mean?
Yeah, but so though.
Because no, it's not necessarily
You
so,
need
because it's like,
you need to
that
do a
could mess
project
up
with
my
that.
assignment.
You need to do a project on what you see. I think you need to do something a bit more to do with the faith as a project, you know, like separately from what you do.
Yeah, 100%.
Just for you.
Yeah, for me, yeah, for me.
Yeah, you definitely
I just feel like
do
don't
that.
let those who don't have the platform or the gift dictate what you do with the gift.
Yeah.
Because you never know. There could be someone out there. Imagine there's like a 15-year-old boy that is exactly like you, grew up in a religious household and is like properly in his faith, but is scared to use his gift because of what people that are in faith will say about him. There's so much people out there in their faith, but they're just not doing it. It's not even by the book anymore, it's by the culture. Religion's influenced by culture, that's all it is. So like, don't let that like stop you, because there could be millions of people out there that are waiting for something like that, that you will never, and only you can do it. Do you know what I mean?
It's interesting. I think when I hear that, that's encouraging, but then I look at it and think, that's why it's a blessing that we have algorithms, because that's exactly what's happening. Like, the people that have faith, who are a bit more flexible in the thinking, that's my main, a lot of that are the main people that come to me, because they're like, I like what you're doing because you're still in culture, and I know you got faith, as opposed to going all the way. So that's kind of like my sweet spot, so to speak,
That's your niche.
That's my niche,
yeah. No, I understand it.
I was gonna say something a bit off here, but do you know something that really upsets me? You know when people find God and then they're like, oh yeah, I don't want to do music no more at all. That proper burns me. Or they don't want to do their job, like, they say they're an actor, they don't want to act anymore. Obviously, I get people have to do what's right for them and their mental health, but I just feel like God is the ultimate creator. And if you feel like he made us in his image, we're also our own little creators. And that's why we're here. We're here to build and create our lives. Like, he gave us free will to make our own choices. So, I don't know, it just upsets you, kind of like, you're so talented, bro.
I understand what you're saying, but I also feel like you got to remember that God wrote everything. So the same gift that he gave you, he knew that you was going to decide to wake up one day and not use it. But just because you don't use it in the same capacity doesn't mean that you're not using it, because creating teaches you many things. Just like how maths, being able to add numbers together teaches you how to add things up, like just in general. Like what Bliss was saying about when he was reading the Psalm of David, okay, that was written that year, that was written, that's adding, but it's just not maths. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
True.
So with stuff like that, when people decide to just stop music, stop acting, stop whatever, just because they're no longer online, they're no longer documenting it, they're no longer putting it out there. But there could be a little student right in their hand that comes up after them, and you will just never know that it came from that person. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
That's when it works though, because I feel like you might be talking about wasted potential, right? Like almost
and
like
just
that.
maybe as a supporter, it's just like, I wish you could still do this. Like, but also as well, like for instance, you changing and doing gospel, I respect that. I still love the fact that, and no one has to do it. There's no one way, but you're still using your voice in a way that is comfortable for you and it's authentic to you, because this is where you're at in your journey.
I went through the same thing where, when I was like, you know, I'm gonna take my faith serious, I was like, I'm just gonna quit music, because I couldn't see a way that music will still bang, and obviously, again, ego-wise, I didn't think people would still listen, to be fair. And then I went to church, sat at the back, and the first thing, bear in mind I'm late, you know, so preaching should have been done. I've just come to see my mum. And obviously, when I'm sitting at the back here, the preacher goes, whatever you left, go back and try again with God. I said, sure. And he ended the sermon.
Wow.
I said, imagine. So then obviously in my head I'm thinking, that's not even coincidence. That's written. Do you get what I mean? And I think for me, if I didn't hear that, I probably would have still quit. I even actually put it, I think I put it on Twitter at the time. I said, oh, like I'm done with music and I had a great time, blah, 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 you know. And a lot of that is just like, when I look back and after going through therapy and counseling and stuff like that, you start realizing a lot of that stuff is to actually get attention.
Yes.
And a lot of that stuff is to actually like make people look at you because you felt like you didn't get a look in before. It's mad. And I think that's why like Bible standalone is great, but like you can't miss the fact that it says in the multitude of counselors, a man is made established. So, and obviously in that part, you need to have multitudes of counselors. You need to have more than one person, because obviously still the Bible says that obviously we prophesy in part. So I might catch part 1, you might catch part 2. You know what I mean? 3, 4, 5, and that's just how you do it kind of thing.
Yeah.
So obviously you still need to get like therapy, counseling, because you then start understanding why I'm actually doing this. So a lot of people, even though they might have, let's say, oh yeah, you know, feel like this is God and da-da-da-da-da. No offense, but to not hear God for this long and hear him so sharp here, I think like maybe you should also leave space for the fact that it might be your flesh. Leave space for the fact that there might be something going on that I don't know. Because Peter, all the disciples walking with Jesus, and yet still Jesus turned to them and said, you guys don't know what spirit you're of.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm saying? So how much more us who think that we're close to Jesus and he's not standing next to us, we don't know what spirit we're of. You know what I mean? So it's always good. You have to test yourself and check yourself. So
What's your reason why?
yeah,
You get me?
your why.